You are not someday in theory, not as an abstract idea, truly, inevitably. One day your heartbeat will stop, your voice will disappear, and the world will continue without you. Deep down, you have always known this. Every human being knows it. Yet most people spend their entire lives pretending otherwise. They wake up distracted. They rush through their days. They postpone happiness for tomorrow. They live as if time is unlimited. But the terrifying truth is that life is already slipping away, second by second, while nobody notices. And maybe the real tragedy is reaching the end of life and realizing you were never fully alive while you had the cha. There is an ancient Buddhist story that forces people to confront this truth directly. A story so simple yet so powerful that once you truly understand it, the way you see fear, happiness, and life itself may never feel. Once, there was a man walking alone through a forest. The air was cold. The trees stood silently beneath a thick layer of drifting fog. The only sound echoing through the darkness was the soft crunch of his footsteps against the ground. Then suddenly, he heard something behind him, a deep, terrifying growl, a tiger. For a split second, his entire body froze. Then fear exploded through his chest. His heart pounded so violently, it felt difficult to breathe. He turned and began to run. He ran faster than he had ever run in his life. Sharp branches tore across his skin. His breathing became frantic. His lungs burned as though they were on fire. His legs trembled beneath him from exhaustion. But the tiger kept chasing him, closer, closer still. Its roar echoed through the forest like death itself rushing toward him. Then suddenly, the ground ahead disappeared. The man stopped abruptly at the edge of a massive cliff. Beneath him was a dark abyss with no visible bottom. He turned around and saw the tiger slowly approaching him. There was nowhere left to run. In desperation, he grabbed a wild vine hanging from the side of the cliff and swung himself over the edge. Now he dangled helplessly in the open air, his hands gripping the fragile vine as the endless darkness waited below him. At the bottom of the cliff, another tiger was waiting. It did not move. It did not roar. It simply stared upward at the man with cold, patient eyes, as though it already knew that sooner or later its prey would fall. Now the man was completely trapped between two deaths. One tiger above him, one tiger below him, and the fragile vine in his hands was the only thing still keeping him alive. His fingers tightened desperately around the vine. His heart pounded wildly inside his chest. His breathing trembled with fear. But no matter how hard he tried, deep down he understood the truth. There was nowhere left to run, no path forward, no way back, no plan left that could save him from this moment. And perhaps this was the very first moment in his entire life that he truly saw reality clearly. That human beings spend their lives trying to escape fear, trying to escape death, trying to escape the impermanence of life itself. But there are truths no one can outrun forever. The tigers are always there, whether we see them or try to forget them. Then the man noticed something even more terrifying. Above him, near the top of the cliff where the vine was attached, two small mice had appeared. One mouse was white, the other was black. Slowly and cal bit by fiber, the white mouse and the black mouse took turns without stopping. Day and night, morning and evening. Time he watched the vine begin to fray beneath his trembling. And suddenly, he understood something terrifying. Even if the tigers, this is the reality every human being is, the mice are always chewing, every birth time. Yet most people live as if they have forever. They postpone their happiness, they postpone love, they postpone peace. They keep telling themselves they will start truly living. But tomorrow keeps disappearing. And while they wait for the perfect moment, the vine quietly becomes thinner and thinner beneath their hands. Then something unexpected caught the man's attention. As the man hung there trembling between two deaths, he noticed a small strawberry growing from the side of the cliff, bright red, perfectly ripe, beautiful against the cold gray stone. For a moment, everything became strangely quiet. The fear was still there. The tigers had not disappeared. The vine was still breaking. And yet, in the middle of all that terror, something beautiful still existed. How could something so small and ordinary feel so alive in a moment like this? Slowly, the man reached out one trembling hand and carefully picked the strawberry from the cliff. Then he tasted it. Sweetness filled his mouth. It was the sweetest strawberry he had ever tasted in his entire life. Not because the fruit itself was extraordinary, but because for the first time in his life, he was completely present in the moment he was living. No thoughts about yesterday, no fear about tomorrow. Only this moment. Only this taste. Only this breath. And suddenly, in the middle of fear and death, he experienced life more deeply than ever before. This is the true heart of the Buddhist story. The man did not find peace because the danger disappeared. The tigers were still there. The mice were still chewing. Death had not gone away. But something changed inside him. He stopped fighting reality. Most human suffering comes from resistance. People constantly argue with life. They demand certainty from an uncertain world. They demand permanence from temporary things. They want life without pain, change, loss, or death. But reality never obeys those demands. The man hanging from the vine finally understood this truth. Peace was not hidden somewhere in the future after everything became safe. Peace existed in the present moment itself, in the taste of the strawberry, in the breath he was taking, in fully accepting life exactly as it was. The Buddha told this story because he understood something deeply important about human beings. People believe suffering comes from danger, pain, or death. But suffering often comes from the endless attempt to escape them. Human beings spend their entire lives running. Running from fear. Running from loneliness. Running from uncertainty. Running from themselves, and because they are always running, they never truly arrive anywhere. The story was never really about the tigers. The tigers had always existed. The story was about the one moment when the man stopped resisting what was true and allowed himself to fully experience the life still in front of him. That is what awakening means in Buddhism. Not escaping reality, but finally seeing reality clearly. The Buddha taught that suffering does not only come from pain, it comes from attachment, resistance, fear. Imagine how many people destroy their own lives trying to control things that cannot be controlled. They fear aging, fear rejection, fear failure, fear death, and because of that fear, they never truly live. They postpone joy until the perfect moment arrives. But the perfect moment never comes. The man on the vine discovered something most people never understand. Life becomes beautiful the moment you stop trying to escape it. Even in uncertainty, even in fragility, even while the vine continues to break. Because peace is not found in control. Peace is found in presence. And now the story becomes personal. Because you are hanging on a vine right now. The mice are chewing through your time exactly as they chewed through his. Every day that passes is another piece of the vine disappearing forever. And yet somewhere around you right now, there is still a strawberry waiting. Maybe it is the warmth of sunlight through a window, a quiet conversation, a cup of tea, the sound of rain at night, the voice of someone you love. Life is happening in these small moments constantly. But most people are too distracted to notice. They are physically alive, but mentally somewhere else. Lost in regret about the past or anxiety about the future. Meanwhile, the sweetness of life quietly waits beside them unnoticed. One day, the vine will finally break for all of us. That truth cannot be changed. But perhaps the purpose of this story is not to make you afraid of death. Perhaps it is meant to wake you up before death arrives. Right now, this moment is your life. Not tomorrow, not next year. Now. This breath, this heartbeat, this fragile moment that will never exist again. The Buddha did not teach people to escape life. He taught them how to taste it fully while it was still here. The tigers may always remain. The mice may never stop chewing. But even now, in the middle of uncertainty, there is still sweetness waiting to be noticed. The only question is whether you are awake enough to taste the strawberry before the vine finally breaks.